people. I got 10 minutes before the new candle. Not much going on. You can see most everything is negative today. So what I was going to do is just go over the charts and find it easier just to flip through these real quick over on TradeView. So let's do that. Daily made a reversal, but it hasn't made a reversal on the daily yet. It made a reversal on the intradays, and that's what I was excited about yesterday. But now it's skirting in a nice reversal here, reverse head and shoulders. And on 60-minute, we had a reverse head and shoulders, and it broke the neckline, but then swiftly came back in overnight. Now we're making another reverse head and shoulders, so it's one thing after another. All these little reverse head and shoulders, pattern after pattern after pattern. These are reversal patterns, so it's finding a bottom. Where the bottom is, I don't know. My line of support was about 3,300, and that was on the daily chart for Bitcoin. And like I said, the daily chart hasn't turned over yet. It's not even over the 8, 13, or 34. I thought we had a good chance of getting there, but not quite yet. So down here at this is a better representation, 32.69 to 32.50. I say round. I always keep the round numbers at 33, but those 32.50 was probably when I would just probably, depending on what kind of volume at the time, if it gets down there and doesn't reverse on an instant, on a dime, and then skirts it, I would imagine that it's going to fall right over. And if that happens, we'll have to start all over, start another pattern. As you can tell, this daily chart and this reverse head and shoulders takes quite a while. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So what I wanted to do is just flip through these on a weekly chart. I'm looking to be above the 8, and if I'm above the 34, then I've got a bullish trend, a change in trend. But I want to be above the 8, and it's okay that I'm going back and forth between the 34 and the 8. Those are the pinches I want to look for. There's another pinch. Just flipping through. Some of these are not. So that one looks like not quite ready for anything. But see, that one fell over the 8, and it's skirting. Maybe a downfall. A and B. I'd watch out for that. I want to be above the 8. I'll just go through these until there's a nice pinch there, nice pinch there. I want to be above the 8, the red line. I want to be below or above the white line. Some of these are hard to gauge on a weekly chart. Very hard to see any of those. This is the Binance feed, so some of them don't have the 8 or the 34 on it because it's a newer issue. and the averages haven't time to populate. So that was a pop back into, there's an inverted hammer. See, BNB, that's above the 34. That broke out a few weeks back. So now it's coming back into support. So that's something to watch. A little change in trend there. BQX, that looks really tight. Really wound up. Hit the 34 back into the 8. Watch for reversal. Stuff like that. Some of these need to get over the 8 on the weekly. Some of them are falling over. And that's got the 34 but no 8. Dent looks pretty wound up. DG, I thought that was going to break out. Oh, it came all the way back in. There's an inverted hammer there. DLT, you can see how that broke out very nicely right over the 34. That's what we're looking for. And once Bitcoin decides, I think the rest of these will follow. It's over the 8 into the 34, so I'm not done retracing yet though. Just popping over the 8 on the weeklies. Over the 34, back into the 34. Little stair step. Watch it come over the 8 again and follow through. EOS on a weekly, just barely over the 8. EVX, we talked about that the other day. It was during Bitcoin's downfall. This one was hanging 10, had a positive outlook plus volume. So this EVX looks good. Across at 34, back into support. Watch for a follow through. Inverted hammer again. There's some gold. Gold's nice. We had that little retracement back in the support. I was looking for that. That's nice. Previous high break. It's got a lot of work to do. It's got to get back into the previous pattern. It needs to bust out. Looks like 1400 is a good popping point. Still working it. GTO. Sorry, I'm laughing at something. You got the pop over the 8 into the 8. GTO, that's something to watch for follow through above the 8. GVT. GXS. Hot. I caught 40% of that run there. That was pretty nice on the break here. I didn't stay in too long. It was pretty good money on those small little rinky-dinky ones. But once they run, they always take forever to retrace. So I haven't been watching that for a while. Let's see. Over the 34, back into the 8 and the 34. So watch that one for a reversal. In between IOST, in between the 34 and the 8, it's getting tighter. Looks like IOTA fell below the 8, so it's got to come back up. A lot of these got kicked back on the last little punch down. Here comes the new candle for today. Let's get through some of these. KMD, I've been watching that one, right? It's always setting off an alert. This one's pretty tight. KMD, another one to watch. Over the 34, back into support. That's another one. That had the long-term chart break. Remember, we talked about this. So it's all the way back into the chart break. Something to look at. Buy at support, sell in resistance. But long-term chart breaks, I mean, that could be a runner for a while. Into the 34, back in. LRC, another one, tightly wound up. Look, LTC, that looks good. Look at that. Look how tight that is. The 8 moving up. The 34 moving down. Watch that LTC, Litecoin. That's a good one to watch there. LUN popped. Nice inverted hammer on a weekly. Waiting for that follow through above. Looks like 57. Be nice. It's at support though, so you might want to edge in. MDA just right above. I think that something can push across here. MFT, I've been watching that one for a nice J curve. There's a hammer there. Watch for anything above that hammer. Use that hammer as support as it breaks through previous lows. Looks like MATH fell over. MTH. You can see how the 8's going to pop across the 34 on a long-term chart. MTL, that looks good for a pop. Nice inverted hammer. Nano, same thing. Try to get through these so we can get back to the opening candles. MPX, look at that little pop, come back in. I don't see the averages though. Looks like it busted into the previous lows, got knocked back, so watch for a little pop across into previous lows. Knowles, I think we watched that one all the way back in. OAX, another one to watch. It's at support now. PHX, we were watching that one. Watch for a previous high break. Could be a nice little pop like it did previously. Red Pulse. PIVX, looks like it's having a little trouble there. A lot of these got knocked back pretty good. I think some traders are preparing for a drop off. Poly got knocked back as well. Power into resistance, back into support. It's at support, so make sure support levels hold in case Bitcoin does fall over and take another step down. Inverted hammer there. Over the 8 into the 8. Watch for QSP, little tightly wound up thing there. RNC was running, I don't know where it went. REN was running, I don't know where that went either. REP. Over the 34, back into the 34, looks like a bounce off the 34, just like clockwork. RLC. Looks like a little pop coming off of there. It's already started to move across the 34. Inverted hammer there. Needs a little pick up the pace though. Salt. SBD. Look how tightly wound up that is. Silver. Look at that. Move across the 34. Back into the 34 as the 8 crosses over the 34 for the splash. Very nicely done. Previous high breaks. Watch for the continuation. Let's look a little bit longer term here. Yeah, same as gold. It's got some work to do to get back into previous lows and break back above and gain some support. It's riding thin here. It needs to step up into the next line of support. Ride the range up into, looks like 1850, that one sweet spot, 1850 for silver. This guy's got some problems. It's got to pick up the pace there. Signals is watching that one too. Into resistance, back into support. You can see the very positive OBV on this one. S&M, S&T into resistance, back into support. Again, tightly wound up. Steam, same thing. Looks like data looks good for pop. Riding just very slightly under the 34. It already popped through. That's coming off of an inverted hammer previous week. TNT, been watching that one. TRX, we were watching that one too. Had a little accumulation pattern still. This one looks good as well for a previous high break. You can see the 34 just lingering down here. Watch for a previous high break on that one. Lots of the good stuff. VIBE, look how tightly wound up that is, and then pop. Came back into support already. Waves over the 34, back into the 8. Looks good. Same as wings. So it looks about 10%, maybe 10% or over the 34 popping. Another 10% in a pinch. And the rest got a lot of work to do, right? These are the long-term charts. Yo-yo, another one. ZIL, look how tightly wound up that is. And that'd be it. So let's take a look at this. Looks like I opened down again on Steam. I'm looking at the daily. I was hoping for a pop into resistance as it crossed over, but I didn't get it. Weekly still looks good though. So I think I'm going to just hang on and buy into support when it hits. So I've been hitting support for a while. Let's see here. What's moving? Nothing. XCM's on the downside. That got knocked back quite a bit. Maybe a rebound on that one. Looks like Bitcoin opened up, so that's good. Looking for volume and price. EDO. Ooh, that got knocked back on the daily. You can see the intraday though popping off the bottom there. Fun. Lots of need some backfills here. Probably hang on for a few more minutes. I don't imagine anything really doing any damage as we're waiting for waiting on Bitcoin. By godly. BTS looks good. Look at that accumulation pattern on the intraday. Has that same look. The same look as a lot of them. It's a 5-hour chart, so watch for 1100 pop. Nice accumulation on the 15-minute chart. Higher lows, higher highs. Loon got knocked back. Let's see, anything? So just to tidy up, I think I'm going to call it. You see, look, my KMD keeps putting off an alert. It was that one of the ones that are very, very tightly wound up. Which means it can go either way, but the reason I like those to watch is if it makes a decision, it's in such a tightly wound up spot and needs to make a decision, and so you wait for the move. I think KMD's one of them. As we looked, there's a few others. And because Bitcoin got knocked back and then was going to move and then got knocked back again, I think a lot of people got scared and there was a big sell-off yesterday.